Hello, people of Our Lady of Perpetual Help. This is your pastor with this week's installment of Flock Notes. And so, hopefully, we all surviving this long, hot summer that we're in the middle of, or we're kind of near the end of now. Because as I look at the calendar, we're almost at the end of August. Labor Day is right around the corner, and who knows? We had our deanery meeting recently. We were already talking about making preparations for the Advent stuff coming up. And so it'll come here quicker than we expected. But here we are, especially this coming Sunday, we'll be hearing again from the 6th chapter of John. And I'll share with you in just a minute something that we're going to hear in the gospel. But I also wanted to remind everybody that we have a ministry fair coming up. And so our ministries will be represented that are here at LPH to see how we want to be involved and what our ministries do. Because there's sometimes we might hear there's a ministry for this or called this, but we don't know exactly what they do. So there'll be a representative there. You can ask that question. Hey, what do we as a ministry do? And if you want to be involved with that ministry, there's more information for that. And of course, we always are looking for liturgical ministers, ushers, communion ministers, lectors to serve during Mass. And so there's a training coming up at the diocese for those liturgical ministers. And so just keep posted to the ads that are below me. Because also, too, not only is there the diocesan training for the liturgical ministers, we are going to have a meeting of all of our lectors coming up in October. Just those are for not only new lectors, but for existing lectors. So we can go over some things here, and maybe some of our more experienced can share with those who are not so experienced what works best, all those things. And so that we can go over, it'll be hopefully a refresher course for those who have been lecturing, but hopefully it'll be for even the new people as well, something that they can learn from. And there's other things that are coming up. So like I said, keep posted to the ads below me. Keep your eyes and ears open to the bulletin and to the announcements at Mass as well. And so I wanted to talk to you about something you're going to hear in the gospel this weekend. It's specifically in the gospel, but I think it's something that not only that we hear in Scripture a lot, but in our regular lives as well. I want to share with you we're going to hear from the ending of the 6th chapter of John, when it says, many of Jesus' disciples who were listening said, "This saying is hard. Who can accept it?" And we know that Jesus has been presenting the disciples and the apostles as well with the bread of life discourse, which is known as the 6th chapter of John. And also, so a lot of those sayings were very hard, but also some of the other sayings in Scripture too are very hard. Some of the sayings we hear in our regular everyday life are very hard. And so so we might think, how can we accept this? I think step number one would be we all need to bring that to prayer. And don't be afraid to be honest with God. And just tell him, God, I'm having a hard time understanding all this. Can you please open my ears, open my heart, open my eyes to be able to understand this entire situation, whether it be the reading of Scripture, whether it be the gospel that we hear on Sunday, whether it be another portion of the Scriptures that we hear, because we're also going to hear the second reading from Ephesians. Some of that can be difficult for many. And so, even in those other everyday situations that we have, we can take that to prayer and just say, God, I'm having trouble guiding through all this, understanding all this. Be honest with God and bring that to prayer. But also be open to what God may say to us, what God may say to us through others, what God may say to us to our hearts, in that still small voice that is oftentimes, even though we can't put a person necessarily to it, we hear that voice in our ears a lot of times because it's not a physical person standing next to us whispering to us, it's God Himself whispering to us. And so it's okay to ask those questions. It's okay to struggle. What we don't want to do is fall into despair, where we just say we will never understand and just throw it all behind us and walk away from it all. That's exactly what we do not want to do. So with that, I hope you all have had a great week. I hope to see you all at Mass on Sunday. And for those attending the Sunday 7 a.m., 9 a.m. Mass, of course, we'll have our coffee and donuts in the hall afterwards. And so I hope to see you all at Mass on Sunday.